You already know the rules. When you come in my house, take off your shoes and super violate that like button. It don't cost you nothing to hit that like button. Shall we begin? Shall we begin?
A lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to global health. You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end, and I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
You've no doubt seen the allegations, including some of them in the last 24 to 48 hours. Are they true?
No, apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. It just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that.
The problem is some of the things that he has sent and some of the information about other people that has come up in those files has been true. Why would he do this and say this about you, do you think?
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
I think we're having a reckoning as a society, right? No girl should ever be put in the situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever was going on with all of the various people around him. No girl. I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking, right? I remember being those ages, those girls were. I remember my daughters being those ages, right? So for me, it's personally hard whenever those details come up, right? Because brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on. I'm in a really unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me.
Well,
and I am so happy to be away from all the muck.
I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles.
Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. And it's kind of like, at least for me, I've been able to move on in life. And I hope there's some justice for those now women, right? We see them standing up in front of microphones in D.C. What they went through is just unimaginable, I think.
So have you guys heard the hilarious news that Bill Gates has now been busted for giving his wife an STD that he caught from a Russian girl on Epstein Island? Well, this has been the headline of today, and it's all over the news. Now that the Epstein files have been released, we're learning all kinds of stuff about this little sneaky snake of a person. Now, according to the records, Bill Gates not only caught this STD, he then snuck his wife Melinda antibiotics to treat the STD that he gave her from the Russian girl. And here we have an actual email from Jeffrey Epstein himself stating, I can't believe you would do this to me, wanting me to get rid of emails and so forth. And I'll go ahead and leave this up there for you guys if you want to screenshot this and read it yourself. Now, although this is not really surprising, it does prove what a sneaky little bastard this creep actually is. And if he's going to sneak his wife antibiotics and sneak STDs into his home, imagine what he's sneaking into your body with his falsified toxic vaccines.
As a people, especially us poor people, we have to really, really, really sit back and think and analyze and reflect on the last few years of this pandemic and the choices that had to be made, whether you was going to go see that doctor and get their prescription that Bill Gates, and many other evil people prescribed to you. They came with the problem and they came with the solution. Bill Gates done warned us that there's a bigger pandemic coming. And once again, the evil man that goes on tour around America preaching population control and population reduction. This is what he goes and he teaches on tour, that the world's population needs to be reduced. Meanwhile, this man is being accused of, by his wife, giving her STDs. This man is being accused of being part of one of the most evilest islands and scandals on this earth. I respect the fact that he got in front of the camera and tried to defend himself. But at some point in America, we are going to be forced to deal with his prescriptions again. We have to do something as a people. I sit back and I watch and listen with the FBAs, the Foundational Black Americans, right? We know who we are, but who controls us on the internet? And I listen to y'all talk about what you're going to fight for and what you ain't going to fight for. I didn't see none of you on the front line. Forget the border jumpers, the illegals. Yeah, you're right. Y'all don't have to fight for them. But I didn't see none of you niggas fighting when it was time for us to line up like we was in concentration camps and go see those doctors. Some of y'all got family members that checked out after taking that. They got their TVs turned off. I don't see y'all fighting for them. I don't see y'all on the front line for them. I don't see y'all on the front line for nothing. All throughout America, and even, I just can't get on my FBAs. With you white militias, the right wing, the left wing. Y'all didn't shut that pandemic down. And if Bill Gates and the rest of the evil elite that he run with, straight out of a comic book, but right in front of our face in real life, in real times, if we allow them to stay in the power, what you think he cooking up in his next batch for all the people who now knows exactly who he is and what he's capable of? We all have information in front of our face, evil information. What are we going to do with it? The first steps and stages is what I'm doing right now, to speak out. If you can't stop it with your hands, you speak out against it. And if that don't work, you hate it with your heart. We got to start somewhere. Because evil does not take a day off. Evil doesn't take a day off. There's no breaks. There's no retirement. It's going to keep on spreading until it comes knocking at your door. Question is, what is we as a people, what are we going to do about it? Is it every man for himself? Or are we just going to sit back and watch and see who's going to be brave enough to be the next Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman? Right? Nobody wants to be the Messiah, right? The world we living in, the people that you idolize, these celebrities, could you imagine the rituals that they had to go through to get in a position of power? Y'all stay tuned, because I'm far from done with this topic. This rabbit hole gets deep. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, and pay attention to your circle before they hurt you. I'm out.